This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show. Oh, it's time to do this again.
Oh my God, aren't we done?
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Good night.
That's the show. We've said 2 sentences this time.
I'm going
trying to make it shorter every time.
This is going to be a 30-minute podcast. Check your timestamps now. I think you'll be surprised to find that it is.
Let's try for that.
Longer.
Greetings, listener, and welcome to episode 117 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. I'm James from the Watchtower Database YouTube channel. I'm here to show my good buddy Brian. Oh, he already said it. I'm wasting more time. The entire DC animation universe from start to finish for the very first time in the controversial Airdate order, so he may view these shows the way human beings experienced them in the far gone days of the 1900s.
My dog.
Other dog. People listen to this on 2 times speed. I don't know what that's going to sound like. At the time of this recording, the new Batman Adventures is streaming on Max and available on DVD and Blu-ray. And if you'd like to follow along, you can head over to bit.ly/watchdcau. Link is in the show notes. Today, we are watching the new Batman Adventures episode, Cold Comfort.
Oh, I
prediction
forgot
last time was Joker and Clayface kissing on Mount Everest or something. And it was a cold comfort.
And it's going to be...
It makes everything better.
It's going to be a Mr. Free. Jamie, it's been such a long day.
I get to watch Batman and Mr. Freeze, and it's so good.
Oh my God, I need to get a blankie. And I'm going to watch this. Listener, so this is...
You need to get not cold, but comfortable.
I'm not cold. Today was, I think, nice, but I was inside working all day. Except for that, I got a little bit of a break because I was waiting for the clients to show up for this gig. This isn't super important.
Okay.
And I went out and I got a chai and I sat in the sunspot for a little bit until a car pulled up that looked like it might be related to my clients.
A mysterious gray van full of ice-themed goons pulled up.
It was a BMW, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, where is it going with my story?
I don't know.
Oh, so James and I were supposed to start the podcast. I was texting him as I was leaving work in rush hour and being like, okay, it's going to be a crapshoot if I can get home in time and eat food. And James is like, don't worry about it, man. Do 6:30 or 7 if you need. I'm like,
7:11 p.m. at the time of this recording.
Yeah. And so
make a wish or something.
And so I was like, 6:30, I'm going to be there. I'm going to eat this food. And then 6:27 rolled around and I was like, I'm going to fall asleep on the couch.
You said, I need more time.
And I set my alarm for 6:55 and I actually fell asleep on the couch.
Hell yeah.
Max woke me up 2 minutes before the alarm went off, though, because he decided he needed to breathe in my ear and lick my face.
Actually, that was me.
Oh, no.
That. Yeah.
Telekinesis to my Max.
I took over his brain and I said, must be what Max does, is lick Brian's face, right? And then luckily it turned out to be right, because otherwise that could have been a little bit weird.
Max, this is the first time you've ever done this.
Yeah. Oh, speaking English. Sorry, it's not James. Anyway,
but it's okay,
cold comfort.
I chugged a cup of tea. And now I've got water, and we're going to cold comfort.
I'm a beverage goblin right now. I've got water, I've got coffee, and I've got mango mimosa cider from Portland Cider Co.
If I had that right now, I would throw up and fall asleep.
Oh.
At the same time.
Throw up? Oh, okay. Cold Comfort first aired Saturday, October 11th, 1997 on Kids WB, 9:30 a.m. This is 1 hour after our last episode, The Hand of Fate.
Oh,
Same day. Yeah. Part of the new Batman Superman Adventures programming block. This is the third new Batman Adventures episode to air.
That's a spoiler.
No, it's not.
That means we're going to get more Superman, followed immediately by Batman.
it gives you a better guess. Yeah. But here's the thing. Sometimes the new Batman Superman adventures would be like, here's a new episode of one of the shows and 2 old episodes of the other shows or something. So it's not going to always be like Batman, Superman, Batman or whatever.
I don't love that.
No, it doesn't help you really in the slightest. This is the 3rd episode to air and the 3rd episode produced.
Oh,
Champagne. This is written by Okay, get this, Brian. Remember Hand of Fate?
Hillary J. Bader isn't actually Diedrich Bader in an overcoat?
What? So, Hand of Fate.
Yes.
You remember. It was written by Hillary J. Bader. It was directed by Dan Reba. The music was by Shirley Walker, and the animation was Coco Dong Yang.
My favorite part was the Dan part.
Yeah, this episode, Cold Comfort, was written by Hillary J. Bader, directed by Dan Reba. The music's by Shirley Walker, and the animation's by Coco Dong Yang.
That can't be.
No, you're right. If you'd like to buy us a Yoppie beverage, you can head over to the link in the description. Support the show. We'll give you a shout out in an upcoming episode. I didn't have to explain what any of those people were because obviously everyone's listening to every episode of this podcast. We'll do a push-up for every $1. So send us coffee for our health, whatever I say. Today's Yoppie Bevs come to us from Kale, who says, excited to be here. I assume that was sent during the live event. If not, where are you? Are you in the room with us now?
I noticed the closet is behind me is actually a little bit propped open, and it normally isn't. I'm not going to look. To be here. I'm just gonna
stare straight ahead.
Yep.
Just do the podcast.
I'm gonna block the gap with my head, or it's gonna be a little off to the side here, but this is fine.
Well, we have to do 15 push-ups. Okay, can you do that, or are you going to throw up and go to sleep?
Let's find out.
1 for Kale, 2 for Kale, 3 for Kale, 4 for Kale, 5 for Kale, 6 for Kale, 7 for Kale, 8 for Kale, 9 for Kale, 10 for Kale, 11 for Kale, 12 for Kale, 13 for Kale.
I beat Brian.
Actually, I guess it's for us. Is it for our health? I lost track of who it's for.
Kale.
So it is, the push-ups are for Kale, or is it for
Kale's health and Kale's entertainment?
Okay, so it was for Kale. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I did it right.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to watch Mr. Freeze or something?
Yeah.
Sick. Don't throw up.
Brainwave activity is completely normal.
Thank you, Doctor. But normal is hardly a word I would use to describe myself.
Victor, we did the best we could, considering.
And we were able to stabilize your condition.
We think it's time for you to let us out of here.
Past time.
Your departure will be at my discretion. No sooner.
So, who's next, Freeze?
Someone important. Someone who feels safe, secure, untouchable.
As my father once told me, those who have the most must give the most.
Those who have the most also have the most to lose, Mr. Wayne.
Hello.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hi, it's Mr. Freeze. It's me. That's what I say. Hello.
Well,
Brian is looking for some sort of canister. Oh. Who sent you that again?
Justin,
that's right. I saw the Instagram, but he's licking ice cream.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Freeze licking ice cream, little guy. I like that.
you can pull his helmet off if you want him to eat the ice
Oh my
cream.
God, but now he's too hot. Put it back on, quick.
Oh, shit.
It's okay, he's just a head now.
He's got like regular legs in this. He doesn't look like a Powerpuff Girl.
That was your main takeaway from the episode. I think you said it three different times. He looks like a Powerpuff Girl character. Man, those are some Powerpuff Girl legs, or whatever you said.
Mm-hmm.
What character were you specifically thinking if he looked like? Is there a Powerpuff Girl?
It's just the way their legs just kind of go into like slightly wider tubes.
Yeah.
And he didn't have like feet. Like this dude's got like feet.
Yeah, he had like really flat boot cylinder feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Powerpuff Girl villains to see if there's any like, very similar boots. Mojo Jojo got real pointy boots, so I wouldn't say that. Similar boots.
That one smells like a World Market candle.
I will take away every boot you own, just like my boots were taken from me. My old boots. Who knows what happened to them? I now have different boots. That's basically what he was saying the whole episode.
I feel like he's more of a jerk in this episode than he has been.
How about first you?
Sing up, if you're wondering. Sing up,
what did I just watch?
Sing up,
Can you Lobo that for me?
Take a listen to the
synopsis.
The shortened summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
I said Lobo and I meant Bizarro.
I don't. Why that even?
Because I don't know.
We should start keeping track of every villain that ends in O like that, because there's gonna be lots. Doggo, Marco, Mojo Jojo. There's a person outside.
Maxwell, come here, Max. He's in the wrong room. Max, come here. He is.
Max.
What a good boy.
I'll aim my freeze gun at the dog, and Brian will get afraid that I will actually shoot the dog, and then I won't, and then you'll say, oh, thank God, Batman's here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happened in this episode.
It is. End of synop.
All right. Can you tell me what happened, please?
Yes.
Please?
Okay, so there's an archaeologist, and she loves dinosaurs, and Mr. Freeze says, nope. Oh, Jack Ryder. Dinosaur. We saw a little bit of Jordan Blumen.
They called him, like, you're on, Jack, at the start, and then they said, like, Mr. Ryder, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you put the two names together. That's his name.
Didn't register, and it said Mr. Ryder and didn't register, and then 15 seconds clicked by on the clock, and then I was like, wait, Jack Ryder!
Because I said it to you.
Yeah. No, at the time that you started to say it, I was just like, oh!
Yeah. It was just clicking.
Yeah. Anyway, so this lady loves dinosaurs, and Mr. Freeze is like, not anymore, you don't. And he froze her dinosaur, and it died.
He froze all dinosaurs. That's how the dinosaurs died. It was Mr. Freeze.
Damn it. He's so cunning. There was an artist who was like, I painted my life's work. And everyone in the city is like, ooh. And Mr. Freeze is like, well, not anymore, you didn't.
Finally, my life's work written in light blue ink. And then Mr. Freeze, oh no.
Listener, in case you didn't see it, Mr. Freeze shoots things with the freeze gun.
He does.
And it crumbles. The first thing, dinosaur crumbles. Shoots the arts, crumbles.
Crumbles away.
Starts shooting people, don't crumble.
Look, I think it's the structural integrity of the dinosaur or canvas. Canvas can't handle the weight of the ice. Human leg can. I don't know.
Okay, I'll roll with it.
This is a thing that can happen. Is a man is a spider and he has ice gun. So I'm trying to base this in reality as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate it. All right, so Mr. Freeze doesn't like art and dinosaurs.
No, he does not.
And then he also doesn't want people to like anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, you'll all pay and you'll find out why later. And then later he's like, I'm a fuck up Bruce Wayne, who I don't know this as Batman. And then he goes to Bruce Wayne's and he's like, you need to suffer too. And he's like, why? And he's like, Alfred gets the gun. And Alfred's frozen. And then we're all like, oh no. And then Batgirl tags Mr. Freeze's ice cream van. And then they're like, we're going to find out where he is. And they find out where he is.
The Titano song, The Pop Goes a Weasel, as it was driving away.
Just thinking of generic ice cream truck song. But, you know.
It would have been better if he had stolen an ice cream van.
Yeah.
Just says like Freezy Pops 99 cents on the side. Because, you know, it's 1990 something, whatever.
So then they're like, Mr. Freeze, we found his underground lair. Doctors, you should go. Okay, bye. And then... they're like, Mr. Freeze's spare suit. It must be a spare suit. Oh no, he's not that. He's now just a head on a spider body, and that's why, despite the fact that Nora's okay, apparently, he's not back with his Nora because Spider Head And I'm like, bro, if you got robot attachments, you could never mind.
Port and starboard. I would like to point out in a video we did last year, said that a lot of people refer to his body as a spider body, but it has 4 legs. Spiders have 8 legs. And then the action figure that I'm looking at right now on my wall is called Insect Body Mr. Freeze. Insects have 6 legs. This is 4 legs. And then a lot of people in the comments are like, it's not about how many legs it is. It's the shape and what you think of when you see it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I guess, but...
It could also be a crab. How many... Do crabs have 6 legs?
Crab freeze. Look like freeze. Yeah, I don't know. Crabs are arachnids, aren't they? They got 8? I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone else.
Anyway, to finish off the Signal,
sorry.
he has a reverse fusion bomb. Freeze does, and he's gonna freeze Gotham. And Batman goes, and he grappling guns Freeze to the bomb and presses the bomb go in the ocean button. Batman's like, well, definitely killed him.
Yeah, he's very sure.
Yeah, and then there's like a big icy explosion, and then there's a zoom in the iceberg thing.
And then music goes, dun.
Guess what, listener? You're not going to believe this. His 4-legged spider head is missing. He's not in there.
Quadruped head. Quadruped head.
Quadract.
The official synopsis. There's no space here, so it's just Mr. Freeze is back and bitter as ever as he plans to release his vengeance on Gotham City. Freeze also has a big surprise for Batman. It's his penis. He has 4 penises now.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what those are, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Freeze is back, and he's a robot, and he's
Can you do
strong.
this more enthusiastically, please?
No.
Jamie, do you hate this episode?
I don't hate it. I just find it very... Yeah, you brought up a couple things. It's just like, Nora Freeze is alive now, but she's like, I'm going to marry my doctor, they said in the thing. They just said...
Yeah.
She woke up, and she went... Oh, thank God I'm alive. Who could have possibly done a bunch of work to keep me alive? Must have been whoever the first person I see. I'm a baby bird. And marries her doctor. And then Mr. Freeze is real pissed about it, and he's deteriorated into a spider head. And he just gets all pissed off.
This wasn't my favorite reintroduction, I gotta say.
And probably worst Mr. Freeze episode so far, to me, anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Oh, good.
Batman does an Indiana Jones, I said.
Oh, that was
back for his hat.
That was a good funny. There's like doors closing in on both sides. What's going to happen? He makes it through, and then he reaches back and grabs his Indiana Jones fedora as foretold by Jamie.
He has enough time to... Hang on, Mr. Freeze. I dropped my hat. I wasn't aware you wore one. Well, please halt the helicopter real quick. I got to and grab my hat.
What you don't realize is that's what Batman's ears are. It's like kind of just like an oversized yarmulke of sorts, and it has 2 big
ears,
spikies.
Yeah. If he took it off, it's just his hair poking out of the top of it.
So not your favorite, not my favorite, Mr. Freeze.
The animation's kind of weird. The back half of the episode is better. Like I think out of the Coco / Dong Yang, I think the back half was Coco because it would just suddenly clicked for me as like, oh, everything looks okay now. The front half was like, I've always thought that the clip that they're watching of Mr. Freeze just shooting his gun on some city street, just like generic Mr. Freeze stock footage. His arm is like way too short. Whatever like proportions they have to do for his arm shooting the gun, they like fucked up. Like I don't know.
It's just a gun attached straight to his shoulder, and he's pew, pew,
it might
pew.
as well be. Why does he need arms? Yeah. For the big reveal.
That's a really good point.
He's just walking around as a spider from the start.
Mr. Freeze, when you a half spider?
Well, it's like, I don't know. There's just so much that happened off screen, I guess, that we just have to accept. It's like the show's 2 years later or whatever, but usually the characters are just like pretty status quo for the most part, except the way they look or whatever. But
so that's the thing. Can we let's take a deep, let's put on some light jazz.
Okay.
Let's like have a
1 moment, please.
What?
I put that on the soundboard.
Oh, okay.
I was going to put on light jazz, but I think this is all I have. So,
that's New York jazz. Okay. We'll pretend it's light jazz.
Yeah.
So we have a Mr. Freeze previously. He's just doing everything for his wife. He's like freezing in an iceberg with her. He's like, I gotta do whatever I can.
Love of my life. Yeah.
Love of my everything.
Yeah.
And now he's like, my body disintegrated. I no longer have a dingus, and so my wife can't love me. Like, is this like a toxic masculinity thing?
We don't get any explanation for whether he like tried to. Like, hey, it was actually me. I kept you alive for years, and I tried to save you a bunch of times. She doesn't know anything about. She would have at least known that he put her in the stasis pod or whatever to begin with, right? Like,
yeah. But he's just kind of like he like just. There's got to be something in like cinema history where there's like a dude who it's like Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, okay.
He's just like, I'm fucking too ugly now, so I'm just gonna like speak to you through mirrors or whatever.
I guess it depends on the timeline of when he became head man, because if he was just if she got revived and he was a head, I guess maybe he could be like, well, there's no way that she's just gonna love a head or whatever, but I don't know, be in the suit all the time.
It's a little thin. Yeah. It's a little thin. I didn't hate the story
of the
telling
episode
itself. Yeah. But the rest of it is a little.
Yeah. What do you think of Batgirl practicing in the X-Men Danger Room? Batman just suddenly has laser target things.
Why not? I mean, don't
guess,
you?
Yeah. Why does he have claws in his? This is the same thing. I do have a danger room. It's called the bathroom. Hang on a second. Wait. There. Oh shit! It's way too quiet.
It's so quiet.
I had Hey Arnold playing.
Yeah. So it's. I get what you're saying. Like, it was cool to see Mr. Freeze. At first, I was kind of upset because it was just like, oh, why is he being just such a dick? And then it's kind of like, like his life is totally changed. But then you take a moment to think about it, and it's like, but why did it change? I mean, because Nora knew him as Mr. Freeze, right?
No. He in the first Mr. Freeze episode, he's just his normal human doctor self, and she's in like a pod dying.
Oh,
and then
right.
What fuckface kicks him into chemicals, and then he becomes Mr. Freeze.
That's right. So, like, in theory, he could have had this like emo bro personality from the start. Like, just as soon as he was Freeze, like, well, she can never love me. I'm ugly now. I'm a cold man. But he still had this heart, and he was still like, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to fix my wife. And then now he's like, it's too far. It's too much. Spider Boy, I can't do it. She's not good. She's arachnophobic. She can't do this.
Yeah. The one thing we've always known about Nora Fries is that she hates spiders.
I just really want it to be an EI and not an IE.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as a kid, I was pronouncing it Fries for forever. And then it's like German pronunciation or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. No, I was going to say I felt really bad for Giuseppe Bianchi and his painting, because like he's just like sobbing. I'm too old to do this again, please. And then like I was like legitimately upset for that guy. Like, God damn it.
I know.
I didn't really care about the dinosaur as much.
I was mildly upset about the dinosaur thing, but it's just like, I mean, for one, most
replicas.
Yeah, I guess replicas, like the fossils are not like they're like a resin cast or something. Like, it's not like rarely are there bones. You're looking at the
with
castings
actual
of
dinosaur bones.
Yeah, and so it's just like, oh man, that sucks. They're gonna have to make a new casting, or they just wait for it to fucking thaw out and put it back together again.
Where
I mean,
did
that's
you
what they
keep
do.
The actual one. I wasn't aware that museums actually did this.
What do you mean it's in Argentina?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Alfred and the bubble bath?
He was having a great time. He wanted tea, and then Tim Drake was like, God dang it.
But this is another one of those things. So he's in ice, and he's having Alfred gets frozen like to the like sternum or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like Bruce is like, you're gonna be in this like chemical bath? Which, I mean, I guess like water's a chemical. That's fine. But so
it's quite relaxing or whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, good, you're going to have to be in there for a long time. Like, okay, so the ice melts after a while.
I wish we could see if he was still encased in ice when he's in there. Or if they like blow dryered the ice away and then put him in the bath. Like if he was just getting frostbite under the ice and they put him in there to correct it. Who knows?
Right. Also, like you just put ice in a hot tub. It's gonna let me tell you from experience, it's gonna melt pretty fast.
Hot tub. I always try to cool it down a little bit by just dumping a tray of ice cubes in there. And then they just disappear immediately.
I actually have like overheated a hot tub and resorted to putting ice and cold water in it.
Well, yeah.
And it melts fast, you know? It's like 110 at that point, 115 degrees.
The best hot tub time is like when it's snowing outside and stuff. And you go sit in the snow hot tub. Yeah.
I agree. I've been in a hot tub in a blizzard because I'm rich now.
The hot tub was flying around like the Wizard of Oz. There's a witch circling the hot tub, cackling at me.
She's like, move over, I want to get in the tub.
And then the hot tub slams down on her sister and the feet curl up.
Oh, man. No, well, I guess we're already tired of talking about this episode. Thanks, listener, for tuning in. Half hour. We're done.
Yeah, the reverse fusion thing, I'm not quite sure. Like the science of that or whatever, if that's not how that works, or if it's we just don't know enough of this. Why did it have to be a reverse? Why they didn't have to call it that at all? They could have just said like, "Hey, I'm Mr. Freeze. I do ice stuff. It's an ice bomb." Like,
that's
you get
true.
it.
Yeah, for me, I get hung up in these things because like fusion is like the fusing of fucking molecules, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not a physicist. So a reverse fusion bomb would be the separation.
Does that make things colder?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess like so if you want to talk like molecularly, atoms moving faster is heated up, and the slower they move, the colder things are.
They're moving real slow. Also, that was not they. Mr. Freeze was like, it'll ice over 10-mile radius, and then Batman drops it in the water and it makes like a little popsicle with Mr.
It's
Freeze
about
inside
30 feet wide at the base and 4 feet wide at the top.
Maybe just how tall it is. It was supposed to go horizontally, but it went 10 miles high.
It also looks like maybe 30 feet high.
Mr. Freeze's head joined the 10-mile high club.
Oh my God.
How hang on.
One moment, please.
How high up? What am I fucking Googling? How high up is 10 miles? That's nothing. That's not a thing.
Like 50,000 feet.
52,800. Yeah.
52,000.
How high do planes
30,000.
31. Wow. You're so good at this.
Yeah, no shit. Ask me another one.
How big is Mr. Freeze's 4 penises?
1.2 meters each.
Oh my God, that's what Google says too. What a crazy thing. That's great. Let me tell you the cast.
Yeah.
Right. Kevin Conroy as Batman / Bruce Wayne. Tara Sharon Duff as Batgirl / Barbara Gordon, who was never Barbara Gordon.
She wasn't Barbara Gordon
episode.
Wasn't that something you were looking for?
Yeah.
Like Batman / Bruce Wayne, but there's no Bruce Wayne or whatever.
Yeah, he was plenty Bruce Wayne.
Oh, well, yeah, but so this was she was only Batgirl.
And what did she say that was promiscuous? That we were like, ooh. Oh, I lasted longer this time, I think is what she said. Michael Ansara as Mr. Freeze.
She's a cartoon character.
What's your point? Michael Ansara as Mr. Freeze. Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon. Oh, yeah, he was there, wasn't he? Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. Lloyd Buckner as Mayor Hamilton Hill. We got a little Hamilton Hill cameo at the place. Matthew Valencia as Robin / Tim Drake. He was Tim Drake for a bit. Mm-hmm. Jeff Glenn Bennett as Jack Ryder. Previously, Office Boy in The Clock King, Computer in Blind as a Bat, Laughing Biker Thug in Mask of the Phantasm, Young Doctor in The Way of All Flesh, and Hardak in all the Hardak episodes.
Oh, well, there we go. Congratulations, Jordan.
I wish he did more in this, like the build up to Jack Ryder over the course of like 70 podcast episodes. I mean, he'll be back, but it's just like his first appearance is just like, And here's a dinosaur, and I'm going to walk away now. Before Mr. Freeze gets here. He knew Mr. Freeze was coming.
It's keeping up the tension. Like, oh, man, he's going to be so good someday.
Yeah.
You better be anyway.
Yeah. Tress MacNeille as Dr. Margaret Madsen, the dinosaur lady. Previously woman in Time Out of Joints, falling down the stairs. Little boy in Holiday Nights. Miss Stevenson in The Last Son of Krypton. Tour guide in A Little Piece of Home. Curator in Mix Yes Pixelated. And revolutionary in Brave New Metropolis. I think when she was lady going like, not my baby, don't take my baby. And then she says, not my dinosaur.
I know, I can't remember what it was. Was it a Brontosaurus or something?
Ultrasaurus is what
well, that's that's amazing, by the way. Good job to the writers.
Ian Patrick Williams as artist / Giuseppe Bianchi. I don't know why it's artist / Isn't he the artist? Was there any other artist? I don't think so. Just say Giuseppe Bianchi. Anyway, he was previously Ivan in The Forgotten, who I do not recall. Cree Summer as Ice Maiden No. 2, previously Psychic Girl, Rain Song in The Hand of Fate.
I love that, Ice Maiden.
Yeah, and Lauren Tom as Ice Maiden No. 3, previously Angela Chen in all the Superman stuff so far. We don't get to know who Ice Maiden No. 1 is. I think it was also Tress MacNeille, but who knows? Because it's not in the credits.
Shit.
And why did they name them 2 and 3 if they're only listed twice? I don't know. Trivs. I got a decent amount of trivs, actually.
Okay.
When Batman leaps at Mr. Freeze on stage, they slide back behind where the painting once was, but when Freeze tosses him, they're in front of the painting's former placement. I noticed this. It was whatever. It didn't matter. When the first shot of the tricentennial, you noticed this, celebration is shown, the banner on the stage reads Gotham Tricentennial with an I. Later, when Hamilton Hill speaking on the podium, the correct spelling is used. Although I think you were like Tricentennial or something. Like your brain registered there was a misspelling, but yeah.
Yeah, a misspelling and some bad kerning because it was kind of 2 words. Yeah. It was like
tricky. Centennial. What a tricky centennial having Mr. Freeze here. Just before Batman and Batgirl happen upon Mr. Freeze's empty suit, faint animated impressions can be seen in a few frames, including people and dogs. Yeah.
Did you see this? Yeah. I didn't see the dogs, but actually, that was one of those moments. You
see just little smatterings of weird ghosts of other cartoons. Yeah.
And I was thinking that would be a really amazing thing to use, like, intentionally.
Yeah.
In cartoons, if you're like in a scary location or you're like supposed to like show like madness for somebody, you just kind of put these impressions on the screen.
Sunshine, I think the movie is. It's what's his name he's in
Jack Ryder.
Shit. Yeah, Jack Ryder.
Emilio Estevez.
One moment, please.
What's his fucking name? Oh my God. What the fuck is the best picture bomb movie?
Gary Busey.
Oppenheimer. God damn it.
You're talking about Cillian Murphy?
Cillian Murphy, thank you. It's a Cillian Murphy movie. Anyway, it's really good. You should see it if you haven't. Sunshine. But there's a scene where they're at a space station and they're like shining a flashlight around to try to it's abandoned. They've been cut off communications. Like, is everyone dead? I don't know. They go in there and when the flashlight like pans across the screen, the like 1 or 2 frames it actually hits the camera lens, it just flashes like a different weird image that like subconsciously freaks you the fuck out. And that's almost what you're describing if they did that on purpose. Obviously they didn't in this, but yeah.
Did you have that
experience?
Yeah, my brain was like opinion. Ask if he had that opinion.
No, yeah. I mean, like when I didn't know it was coming, so yeah, watching it the first time, like like stop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Flash for like 1 frame.
Oh man, how very Fight Club of them.
Yeah, I guess that's a better example that anyone else would understand is Fight Club. I think we talked to Dan or somebody about that one time, that it's like whatever other cartoon being produced at the same time in that studio, that they just somehow sitting on top of each other when they drew it or something like that. That it's just, when you draw on a pencil paper in it and there's another part, another drawing underneath. Yeah, I don't know.
That's freaking amazing, actually.
Yeah. I'd like to pause, and I don't think I've ever actually paused and tried to make out any of the individual, like what they actually are, but it's weird.
You should do that and screenshot it and send it to me so I don't have to do the work.
I'll just put that as the thumbnail for this. I'm not going to do that. I'll put a faint impression of some other drawing. On production documents from this episode, Mr. Freeze's helicopter is referred to as the Freeze-copter with a hyphen in the middle.
Oh man, you got
opinions, you got experiences.
Hold on, I'm just. I gotta go process this. I'm gonna go pick up some drinks at the store. I'm gonna hop in my Bry truck.
With a hyphen, yeah. The episode begins with the unveiling of a fully restored Ultrasaurus skeleton. Not only has a complete Ultrasaurus skeleton never been discovered, it was shown in 1996, a year before this series began, that Ultrasaurus was not a valid genus of dinosaur, the bones originally named Ultrasaurus actually being from 2 previously known dinosaurs.
Ultrasaurus was a dinosaur?
I guess so.
Like a wannabe dinosaur?
Really. Yeah, it was 2 different dinosaurs. They went, this must be a new dinosaur. 2 dinosaurs that died on top of each other.
I was going to say, when you say 2 dinosaurs, I'm imagining like the 2 people in a horse costume kind of thing. Like it's 2 dinosaurs that died with one's head against the other's butt.
The asteroid perfectly split them in half, and their 2 back and front halves fell on top of each other. Yeah.
There's like 2 bipedal dinosaurs are now a quadruped. They're just, it's Ultrasaurus.
How would they know? I don't know. They're smarter than me, I guess. Dr. Madsen tells Mr. Freeze no one would buy a stolen fossil. However, the Ultrasaurus is a skeleton, not a fossil. Although even probably not the actual skeleton.
As we were discussinating.
Yeah, as we did that. After one of Freeze's henchwomen accidentally freezes her foot and is unable to move, Freeze doesn't help her and apathetically leaves her to her fate as he escapes. He showed this exact kind of treatment to his former henchman, Johnny, who found himself in the same predicament in Heart of Ice. Do you remember this at all?
Nope.
Batman takes him with him and puts him in like a back-to-tube or whatever, that back to tank. I'm not Star Wars. The Mark Hamill float and be not frozen tank. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He does that. On Mr. Freeze's character in this episode, Paul Dini had stated, I think I was the one who came up with the idea that Freeze was out to deprive innocent people of whatever they loved. That made him into much more of a villain. It stripped him of whatever sympathy or nobility he had, but it also made him more dangerous and frightening. Not a bad trade-off. I didn't mind using him again as long as we found something other than Nora for him to obsess about. As long as he couldn't have anyone to love, he wanted to deprive others of that too.
I get that. And I kind of like, I see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And I applaud it, like a golf clap applause.
That's all he gets.
That's all I get.
Paul Dini.
I don't know. It is sort of it kind of explained to me why he was behaving the way that he was, but I don't think they skirted around a couple of plot points to get to
things
that.
They could have done first or something.
Yeah.
Like we could have had a whole episode of Nora coming back to life and stuff like that.
I mean, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So she's just like out there somewhere.
With her doctor, fucking her doctor, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess with what Paul Dini's saying, it's like Heart of Ice, Emmy award-winning episode, and then they didn't use Mr. Freeze for like 60 more episodes because they're like, well, how are we supposed to top that? What can we do instead? And then Deep Freeze, and then now this is like so quick on the heels of Deep Freeze to be like, he's here again, but he's just mad now. Like, he's just like really sad and mad. Like, I don't know.
I guess that like if something happened. Okay, I don't want this to be the situation because I love my last 2 Mr. Freeze experiences. If Nora was to have died and then he went on this rampage,
that makes more sense. Yeah,
sure, fuck yeah, that's like he's going to be at like the deepest, darkest depression ever. Got it.
Yeah.
The fact now that he's like, no, crab legs too much. Woman can't love crab leg, man. Bye bye. Like,
I mean, if they had also said something maybe about like, oh, not only did his body fall apart, but his mind did too, or something like that, they would be a little more believable that he's acting how he's acting. But instead, he's just like, I lost my dick. And so now I'm like this. Now I'm mad. Yeah, I don't know. Last thing I've got is Mr. Freeze's original character design for btas was done by Hellboy creator Mike Mignola, which we talked about way back in Heart of Ice time. Mignola's own comics feature at least 2 characters who exist as disembodied heads attached to robotic bodies. First is Hermann von Klempt, a mad Nazi scientist whose head is kept in a glass jar. And there's also the amazing screw-on head is another one. If you look up Hermann von Klempt, he basically just looks like Mr. Freeze in this episode, but with a swastika on his forehead. So I guess at least they didn't go that far.
I thought you were going to say some Futurama comment, but that's a little bit worse.
No, that'd be better. Yeah, that's be good. Keen effects in Cold Comfort. I really liked the shot when Batman and him are fighting in the Freeze Dash copter. And Mr. Freeze sneaks up behind him, and his head is like distorted by the crushed glass in the windshield. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Keen.
That's it.
Hold on, I can think of one.
Okay.
One moment, please.
I'm going to overuse the fuck out of that.
What is that from?
It's when Bizarro goes up to Brainiac and, who am me? Where am home? And then he says
that. Oh, my God. What about Batgirl dodging lasers? So lasers were
yeah, okay.
They weren't very glowy.
I just think of how in Heart of Ice and Deep Freeze, Mr. Freeze's freeze gun effect was way keener than it was here, I think. Like, not only do the hench
This was a little
girls,
super soaker looking.
Yeah, well, the gun itself looks worse, but then also...
Well, I meant the effect of the gun. It was like...
it comes out like a stream of water with some little, like, swirlies around it, whereas Mr. Freeze's gun beam before was, like, a very sci-fi...
Yeah,
multiple rays with like a cool spirally thing happening, and I don't know. It wasn't as keen as it used to be.
Bit
but it
quicker to
bad.
animate in this side.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of the whole thing with this like style upgrade or downgrade, whatever you want to call it. Is the
downgrade? I call it a downgrade.
It is a lot of the time in Batman episodes. At least it's very strange. That's always the thing, the go-to. Like, oh, they had to do it so that it would match Superman, and I'm consistently like, I think you could have just kept doing what you were doing, just have consistent animation. That's all. But the budgetary whatever. I just feel like Mr. Freeze's costume was too trimmed down from before. Like he had those kind of like little inner tubes on his arms. I don't know how to describe it. He had shoulder inner tubes and elbow inner tubes and wrist inner tubes. And he still had those here, but they were just like flat lines on a flat rectangle of an arm. Like there wasn't much depth going on.
Powerpuff Girl legs.
Powerpuff boots. Yeah. Is there any other keen things? There was some sort of elevator buttons that were glowing red in his meat basement. Glowing red in his meat basement.
Oh, at least we got something.
Batman's usefulness.
Oh, very. He was very useful.
Yeah, he did all this stuff, right?
He
killed Mr. Freeze, clearly.
At the end of the day, yeah, Gotham would have been destroyed if not for Batman. So you got to go pretty high on the list for that one.
8.7.
Uh-huh.
What was it that Alfred asked for? Crumpets or some shit?
Cups of tea with
honey and
a little bit of lemon.
Yeah, that's about the energy I'll give the usefulness.
Well, with that same energy, Jamie, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him like a 9.4.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, I think he really saved the day.
I like how we reserved 10s for he saved the planet, and so Gotham is 94% of the planet.
Oh, well, but that's don't math it like that. No,
1.02.
Yeah. 9.4
meat hooks.
There's a lot of meat hooks.
There really were. I thought those guys the scientists were just going to be like shish kebabbed onto them, but luckily
just
they weren't.
Taped up. Why did he tape them up?
So that they could go in the corner.
9.4 scientists hanging in the corner.
Going scientists.
It wasn't a bad episode. It just wasn't a good episode.
I do like that he says, like, you three, go. And the scientists are like, us three?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the only grouping of three that I could have been referring to. And then they leave. And because he's like, before I changed my mind. And my first thought was just, we don't have the animation budget for 7 characters right now. Please go away. I need it to be only Batman and Batgirl now, if you don't mind. Because he lets them go so that they can still theoretically die in his plan, so it doesn't matter, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I guess that's true. I don't know. A lot of this, like, even though a lot of this didn't really gel super well for me,
yeah,
I still feel like there was a bit of that Mr. Freeze edge that I like. You know, the fact that he's like not like outright killing people, but he's just like, hey, you're gonna suffer.
The way you described or you guessed last episode, like Mr. Freeze is gonna be, there's a problem that he has, but he's gonna make it a problem for Batman or something.
Oh, yeah, make it a problem for everybody else.
Exactly
maybe
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of emo like that.
He targets Bruce Wayne because the episode requires him to do so, but otherwise it really doesn't make any more sense for him to target Bruce Wayne than any other of the theoretically hundreds of rich people he could have targeted or whatever. Go to a Veronica Vreeland party and just pick any asshole rich person. But he's like, no, I have to do the one that is coincidentally Batman. And then he's also mad at Batman at the end for some reason.
I don't know. I mean, probably for getting in the way. But yeah, so there was a lot of stuff that I did like about Mr. Freeze being Mr. Freeze in this episode. But I think as episode as a whole, this is not the most excited I've been to see a Batman episode.
I was going to ask, like, are you still like, oh, thank God it was Batman and not Superman, even if this was the product? Have you enjoyed Superman episodes more than this episode?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. I mean, Lasok, for example.
Finest. Yeah. Where's Clayface? Was he the hot bath? The chemical bath?
I'm going to say that he was trying to walk his way through the ocean and reassemble, and then he got bombed. And so that's why the spike isn't so big. Yeah. It's just frozen Clayface.
He's holding it together on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
Stayed within this small confined area.
Oh, I was thinking he is the ice itself.
Oh, okay. The bomb just tapped him on the head and turned him into ice.
Yeah, that's why it's not so big.
I got you. That's good.
Okay, wait, but so they shoot the fucking, they got the ice gun. They got the, Jamie, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, all my energy is going into this one thought. They got the ice gun. They shoot the dinosaur collapses. They shoot the art collapses. They shoot the man is just frozen. They shoot the girl's frozen. Batman can't like pull his cape for some reason.
His cape doesn't crumble away.
But then twice, they shoot nothing. They shoot like a doorway. And not the door. They shoot the doorway.
They shoot the air, in the hole.
And everyone's like, "Well, we can't get through that." God knows how deep it is.
That's happened in every Mr. Freeze episode, I think, where he will shoot a space and ice will form where the space was. And it's like, how does he flip a switch on the gun that says like shoot air now? Like when you reach 8 this exact
and
distance.
Then stop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've that's always bothered me too, because he punches a hole in main Wanner wall and then walks out of it, and then he shoots the hole and it makes an ice wall, and like instead of going through the hole and shooting whatever's in Wayne Manor.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I did like your comment when they're standing on top of the staircase and he pushes Alfred down his ice slide, and Alfred into the couch, and then Mr. Freeze steps onto the ice slide and just like perfectly shimmies his way down, and you're like, you were saying that it would be better if he also just into the couch.
Makes the ice slide, pushes Alfred down, and then goes to like heroically walk down the ice, but also slides and collides into the couch.
Some cool Tony Hawk move, but instead he fucks up and slams his whole, and then his spider head comes out. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that for another 17 minutes. Shit.
Man.
You did have a pretty good, I've seen the episode a million times, so I just looked away from the episode to look at your face as his spider shadow's coming around the corner, just to see you go like, huh? What?
I was
so,
very perplexed.
Yeah, good. Books or hip hop?
Books.
Correct. top 10.
No.
For the top 10. Well, you have to for New Batman Adventures. Is it?
No.
Going yeah. Is it going under Holiday Nights and Sins of the Father? That's where it's going for me, is number 3. These are in order so far of their airing.
Yeah, it is. I might even put it at number 4.
Just preemptively. I know something will be at least one better than this.
Wait, no.
A cold comforter. That's like the opposite of what that's supposed to do.
Cold comforter in the winter when you just want to
really needed it to be warm.
Into a warm bed. But then you get under the sheets and stuff and
it's just not warm.
Just like,
gosh dang it.
God, you're like, oh, WTF?
It's typing this whole thing.
I wanted this to be warm.
Comforter. That's the feeling you get from this episode.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted another Mr. Free. Oh, man.
And then you gotta shuffle your feet back and forth really quickly to warm it up.
If you just stay in one spot long enough, it'll warm up right there, but not anywhere else. So you better not move.
Just people who share a bed with somebody else. Just saying.
Yeah.
The nicest thing you can do is go to bed like 5 minutes before the person you're sharing a bed with.
Yeah.
And
be a heater.
Lay in their spot. And when they come in, they're like, "What are you doing?" Then you're like, "Warming it up, James." And then you roll over into your spot.
I've not thought of that one because I'm a bad husband. Okay. It's time for Yoppie Mail. And when we come back, I'll tell Brian the name of the next episode. He has to guess what it is and what show it is.
It's going to be Superman.
Wow. What? Yeah, you can't do it yet.
Yeah.
It is, though.
One small extra yop. Put it up.
We drop
What we drop?
our weekly yop.
Oh, yeah. Those.
Into the comment box.
First.
There sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're all
At least I am.
just Dylan Pollock.
I didn't sign on to be Dylan Pollock. When did this happen? If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the world's finest,
End of World's Finest
part 3. I said the because I'm so used to saying end of the Cat in the Claw.
End of the World's Finest part 3 Claw.
Part the 3, you can send the punctuated email or a 60-second the voice message to batwagonpod@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on today's episode on the Podtower YouTube channel, but please do not spoil anything past this episode for Mr. Freeze! We didn't do it, and I had to do it. I had to put it in there somewhere.
Good.
This is a comment from Euphonium Star. Damage report for Hand of Fate. Antique vase, thieves' clothes. Has them back at the end, though. Except the coat.
Yeah.
Stone tablet, cop car, blue car, 3 building walls, Superman's costume and chest, 3 more cars, Daily Planet lobby roof and floor, Ron Troop's clothes also gets them back at the end, Jimmy's clothes gets them back, Lois's clothes gets them back, Carcoal tentacle. Thank you very much.
I love it. Is this is this clearer sounding now? Does this sound completely different to this? Is this different?
Shout
from
something
this?
with those around it.
Mr. Freeze versus
sounds good to me.
Mr. Freeze. Is it the exact same?
I can never hear it on this, but whenever I listen back when I'm editing, I can definitely hear a slight echo in the room, and it's so bad.
I'm sorry, I haven't put this up yet. I got to build the desk first. Hold on. I got to build the desk first, and then...
No one heard a difference.
And then I'll put these up on the wall, and I won't have as much echo. I'm sorry, Jamie.
Build a desk then, okay? This is from Michelle Salerno. Hello, Jailhouse Rock and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ooh,
I'm finally able to share my thoughts on an episode. It's nice having some people to talk to about this because nobody else I know is into DC like I am. I even told my sister about this podcast and she straight up said to me, wow, there are people out there who are bigger nerds than you are. It's me. It's not Brian. It's just me. This episode was not a memorable one for me. I liked it, but I don't think it's top 20 worthy. This is Hand of Fate. A hentai tentacle monster from hell quarantines the Daily Planet from coronavirus or whatever. I like to imagine that it's like what it's like to be a resident in Metropolis by where the Superman and Carcass or whatever his name were fighting. You just look out the window and see your car getting absolutely pulverized. It was definitely keen when Superman threw that car at Carpal Tunnel and there was a perfectly cut explosion at the moment of impact. Keen indeed. And suddenly there came a fate. I can imagine Brian was just as confused as I was for him to appear out of nowhere. And Superman must actually have a low pain tolerance if a couple of scratches had him nearly crippled. It's okay. Fate's wife fixed him up and gave him a big old smooch afterward. Or he gave her a big old smooch. That makes more sense. I swear they had some, because Superman does that all the time. I swear they had some serious sexual tension. Fate better watch out. And of course, we conclude the episode by confirming that Superman has pretty much no chance of winning on his own. Good to know. I rate this episode 4 out of 10, lowest demons being the only one with hair. Hope cartilage does not come back. Yop till you drop. Thank you so much.
Michelle, I'm really upset that I didn't think of Carcass and Carpal Tunnel. That's
remembered
really
his name.
good.
That was all you were like hyper fixating on. It was like, just don't fuck up his name. It's Carkle. And you remembered Rain Song too. You remembered everyone's actual name.
I'm so good suddenly.
I know. This is from Cam Lightfoot. Hi, Jandolph and Brimley.
Hey.
I just got back from an ancient tomb in search of answers regarding the first meeting of Superman and Dr. Fate. Inside, I found a tome containing text that at first I couldn't read, but after staring at it for a minute, I could understand it. It reads Superman Adventures Annual Number 1 from 1997. To describe a frankly very confusing timey-wimey adventure in one punctuated sentence, Superman and Dr. Fate met for the first time and also the third time at the same time, while a young Superman was fighting demons in the past and a future Superman was fighting demons in the future. Trust me, this is the description of this issue, ancient tome, that makes the most sense. Anyway, hopefully I don't get turned into a demon squid monster after reading this. Thanks, as always, for making such a fun, yoptacular podcast. Woohoo! Cameron Lightfoot. That's how I would describe it, too, because that is a word that's not real. I did forget about that comic somehow last time when I said there's no comic in Superman Adventures that explains their meeting, but I think it's because of how confusing it's. If I can remember right, Superman goes back in time, or he looks through some sort of window to when he was younger or something, and he's also training with Zatanna's dad that we saw Bruce Wayne training with. And he's Superman is hiding in a crate or something during that flashback scene in BTAS, canonically.
Are you serious?
and then there's some Dr. Fate. He meets Dr. Fate then and in the future at the same time or something like that. But that comic also, it crosses over with, I think it's Batman and Robin Adventures, Superman Adventures, and Adventures in the DC Universe. And that last one is not DCAU canon. So it's confusing whether or not any of them are.
Jamie,
and this
I'm
is
tired.
a video that I've been meaning to
tired.
make, and it still happens someday. Yeah, I know. I'm not helping. It's from Dylan Pollock. Cold Comfort, or Screw Your Joy. Pretty emotional for an emotionless guy, that Victor.
It's time for the thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollock on Cold Comfort, or is it better to have loved and lost? Not for the archaeologist and painter in this episode. Here's what I'm thinking. And I've asked this before, but how does Mr. Freeze hire? Is he putting out a job application for we're destroying people's hopes and dreams, not getting any money? List 3 references. Also, Mr. Freeze's line, you have made the struggle worthwhile, and I shall make it worth nothing. Why does that feel like it's a commercial for depression? Also, how does Mr. Freeze know he sees Alfred as a surrogate father? How does he know he's not a total jerk to him? That wasn't what they saw in the video of Bruce Wayne. Also, it's really weak that Batgirl and Robin lose to a woman with a block of ice, and she just clubs them both with it. You didn't have time to react after you saw Batgirl get hit and dodge? Also, who else has spent much of this episode picturing Walt Disney and Ted Williams as severed spider heads? And that leads into the question of the week, James' favorite part. If you otherwise wouldn't live, would you stay alive as a spiderhead?
Oh, man. I don't think so. I think I would give up at that point. I think I'd be like, yeah.
Wait, so the alternative is death or...
Death or be a quadruped head like Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I'd be a spiderhead.
I don't think so. I don't think
Dude, my body's like already falling so much to pieces that just like
I would correct my back problems.
Yeah,
and
you wouldn't have a
problems.
back. But your wife wouldn't love you because you wouldn't have a donk.
No, exactly. I just have 4 spiky metal ones instead that come out of my neck. Like Mr. Freeze. This is from Kevin. He gave me a pronunciation at the bottom. Kevin Delacry. I found your podcast a few months ago, and I've been burning my way through it. Y'all have good vibes. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I think I grew up toward the back half of these shows, so I have some nostalgic connection to those. One Justice League episode in particular gave me frequent nightmares. Remind me in 3 years, and I'll point it out. Anyways, I decided to watch/rewatch the shows myself not too long ago. I was glad to hear you guys both tear apart the inconsistent animation on BTAS, but also draw attention to the specific touches that show how the show creators tested their limitations. Compared to what came directly before it, G.I. Joe and Transformers and such, it's remarkable how much artistic formality they wanted out of their Batman cartoon. I have more to say about STAS in a future episode. My favorite STAS episode is not too far away, but for the rest of this email, I thought I should explain why On Her Majesty's Secret Service is one of the top tier Bond movies.
Wait.
1 moment, please.
This is Kevin, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Good fucking luck. Okay, please proceed.
Okay. It seems like that movie really damaged Brian, and I want to help if I can. After you said that. I'm not exactly a Bond guy, though I was when I was like 16, but it's important to understand that the franchise is like the Fast and the Furious movies now. They don't make sense, they don't mean to make sense, and you have to meet them on their level. In this specific film, it has to be taken in sequence with the films that directly preceded them. You may already be aware of this, but the Connery films are direct sequels to each other, with the exception of Goldfinger, wherein Dr. No works for the mysterious organization Spectre, run by Ernest Stavro Blofeld. On Her Majesty's Secret Service does a poor job of catching you up on the idea that Bond is hunting his greatest enemy who slipped through his fingers last time, but that's what's going on here. Oh, there's quite a lot of explanation. I might just forward this to you instead because this is really long. I think I get the idea that it's you got to watch the movies surrounding it to get a better experience.
Well, this is one of those things, and I hope you forward this to me because I would love to read everything that Kevin had to say.
I'd like to enjoy a movie that everyone else seems to.
Well, this is the thing is like you and I went into it with like nothing but positivity and a few beers maybe. And
I think the few beers happened throughout the movie.
Maybe that's what it was. But we were just like, yeah, everyone's talking about this movie and how good it's going to be, and we were just on the lookout for good things.
Yeah.
And so if this movie just happens to be an extended bridge,
he's trying to make a point, Max, and DVD and Blu-ray.
If it's supposed to be a bridge between, these movies or whatever, then it's too long and too inconsequential. Like, it didn't seem like there was anything plot-wise that was amazing. It didn't seem like there's anything too, like, action-wise that was amazing.
Well, and you and I are both pretty big, like, James Bond fans in general. So we weren't doing this like a terrible movie night. Like, oh, let's watch this Riff Tracks Mystery Science Theater bullshit. Like, we were just like, we're going to watch a theoretically good movie that Dan Reba approves, and then we're just like, oh, I don't like it.
It was like an hour in, and I think like we had to pause it so you could text Dan to be like, what's good about this? Because we were trying, and it's just
we disappointed Mr. Reba that day.
We did, and I'm sorry to disappoint others who like it. I just, much like the early BTAS episodes, if you really love that movie, Go back through and watch it critically.
I don't really care. Like, it doesn't affect my life whether or not On Her Majesty's Secret Service affected my life. But I'm just gonna be confused, I guess, and it's fine. I don't think I think it's basically we got a friend on Twitter he drew some of the DCAU coloring books. His name is John Trumbull. He's done many other things, but that's where my brain goes the first thing because that's what I knew him from earliest in my life.
Okay. He
and I have like brotherly arguments about like timeline stuff and things like that. Like, we respect each other, but we're always just like, you're not right. It's this thing. He's like super anti Zack Snyder DC movies, like to the point where he won't even try to watch the Justice League 4-hour cut, which you've watched and I think liked enough. But
I would say Snyder over Nolan, if that's worth anything.
Ooh, let's have that conversation in a different podcast episode. But I can't, basically, I just can't get him to watch it the same way I can't get Joe to watch Battlestar Galactica or anything like that. I feel like that this is our version of that, of you're never going to necessarily convince us that this is a good, except we did watch this. It's the difference. We have informed opinions. I don't know. Kevin ends his email with, you guys mentioned also how out of place the credits music in Mask of the Phantasm was, but the On Her Majesty's Secret Service credits are 1,000 times worse. We got all the time in the world. Yeah. Just they really should have faded to black before playing Jazzy Bond theme, because there's a real dissonance between the image on screen and the music being played. Last note, cold comfort equals dumb motivation for Frankie Freeze, and I spent most of the episode wondering what these women in parkas were getting out of these profitless crimes. Best regards, Kevin. Yeah, all right.
I want you to put on fuzzy boots and big fuzzy jackets. No.
We're going to be in a place that's very cold, so make sure you wear your parka and boots and no pants. You do not get to wear pants. My wife doesn't love me anymore, so I need to be surrounded by pantsless women at all times.
Kelly, stop putting on your pants. Take those off. The boots and jacket.
Can I at least
no
wear
pants?
Pantyhose? No.
Kelly, no pants.
Anyway, Scarlowy 1, cold comforts.
Oh, God.
Jump on the mechanic
That's
wagon.
a me joke. Come on.
Hello, listener, and welcome back to Jump on the Mechanic Wagon. I'm your host, Scarlowy1. In this episode, I will tell you about Season 1, Episode 3 of the New Earl Adventures, Ahead of the Game.
That's it.
Earl and Mr. Freeze are in the garage.
Thank you for helping me rig the bomb to my helicopter, but I need your help with something else.
What is it?
Building a spider robot for me to get around in. I've already drawn the blueprints.
He then handed them to Earl, and he said, "These seem good, but a little small for a big fellow like you."
Oh, about that,
he said as he took off his head. Earl then screams for literally the rest of the episode. It starts to get funny around 15 minutes in. Anyway, see you next week. Same time, same poo-poo channel.
I like the phrase, he took off his head.
You know what? I gotta really, okay. I just realized the problem I have with this episode. Thank you, Scarlowy.
Earl wasn't in it, designing a helicopter spider. Yeah.
No, so
what if Mr. Freeze was just a helicopter?
They built him Mr. Freeze body for him to be like, I'm Mr. Freeze and I got Powerpuff Girl legs. Pew pew, short arms.
That's what he says.
Pew. Yeah. Why the crab?
Spooky.
But I
don't know.
But why because he's.
Why is he not just a head and then also he can screw his head on his body or whatever? Why does he have to have spider legs? I don't know.
We did this in Return to Oz. We can have the reverse where it's just one head and a closet full of bodies. But right. Why is he you know what? I don't want to be looking at humans in the eyes. I want to be about the height of a Labrador and give me but not in a humanoid body. Just give me some spider legs things.
Yeah. What is the benefit of him being able to get around without the body?
Think about that. If same thing, that question about if you could be a head.
Don't question the spookiness.
I need you to answer.
Spooky wall shadow. You could see an outline of a dog for a second or something.
Man, I could see a flying thing. You know?
Mr. Freeze on a little rocket floats around.
Like a hawk. He's got a pigeon body that he puts his head on.
It has wings on it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, why not anything else? Yeah, who knows?
Maybe bat. He'd be Man-Bat.
Oh, yeah, he could be a member. This is from Scrudge.
Scrudge! Wow, it's been a while.
Tonight on Kids WB, after Mr. Freeze's wife leaves him, he's forced to settle for a little head. Thank you, Scrooge. The return of Scrooge.
Oh my God.
This is from Lanola Cola, Tug on the Super Cape. In this universe, there's only one absolute. Everything yops. I had figured hell would freeze over before we saw our favorite cryogenicist return, but here we are with the episode Cold Comfort, aka Quadrupedal-Headed Icy Master Blaster. It was a very Master Blaster situation.
Is that gonna be the subtitle of the episode?
Just retcon it, yeah. Mr. Freeze returns. Henchwomen with exposed legs are just the norm for the DCAU now. Victor turned into one cold-farted itch. It's a Food Fight reference. Oh, no. Have you seen Food Fight?
Nope.
It's a real bad movie. Coming back to this episode, I'm now noticing that Freeze's vanity is what's motivating him during this episode. His wife was cured off screen, but he thinks that she wouldn't like him as a head in a jar. He didn't consider that if they were reunited, maybe she would have wanted him to drop his cryogenetic crime life to become a cunning linguist. Joke. That's why the spider's the height that it is. And he's got 4 spider dicks. Joke aside, the episode is a ton of fun with good lines throughout. I'll get back to y'all faster than Tim Drake being left in the cave to make Alfred some tea and his favorite Eternal Youth cookies till we up again. P.S. I was actually born 7 days after the nationwide premiere of Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. Interesting. P.S.S. Surprisingly, there is still a Teletoon channel just for French language programs, but Canadian Cartoon Network is all in English. Okay.
Télé français, bonjour, hello,
Canadian
salut.
Cartoon Network.
Télé français. Everyone should go watch Télé français, at least like the first episode. It's fucking amazing.
I don't know what that is.
You got to go watch the first episode. It's definitely on YouTube.
All right. The Banana Baby. Goo Goo Gaga translation. I feel like I'm slowly fading from the comment section the longer my family is gone from this place. Is everything okay? Sent from my can of Old Spice aluminum free Fiji dry spray.
Oh. That's sad.
That's really too bad. This is from True Score. Cold Comfort or the new Ghostbusters wishes it was this. Hey, Baby Boomer and Joe Mama. Oh, he said your name first.
Yeah.
Here's your fun Lego fact for this week. Nearly every sound effect in this episode is reused in Lego Batman the video game in 2008.
Oh my
as well as
God.
Shirley Walker's theme and a lot of Elfman music from Batman 89. I remember this episode being just okay, but damn, I love it a lot. Oh. I'm sorry. We see
It's okay, Brody. You like what you like.
We see Bruce as a father more than I think we've had for a while, and to be fair, it's just kind of refreshing to have a Batman episode again. As for Freeze, maybe his weakest episode, but it's still got that Freeze flair. Not to mention that twist of him without a body still shocks me to this day. Oh, and now there's just a giant iceberg in the middle of Gotham Harbor? It definitely wasn't 10 miles long, like he said. Sent on my Hotpoint 6.9 cubic feet manual defrost chest freezer, only available at your local Lowe's.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, this is completely unrelated. Are you good?
No, you're good. I'm good.
Okay, hold on. I got to just press your hold on button.
One moment, please. One moment, please. One moment, please. One moment, please.
Thank you, James. I made a pop into the local Goodwill today. Or yesterday, just 2 days ago.
Mask of the Phantasm finally on DVD.
I was looking. I didn't find that.
Oh.
I did, however.
The Batman 4-pack. I've got that over here somewhere.
Do you really?
I do, yeah.
Am I cool now? Am I becoming one of the crew?
Course. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That you went out of your way to buy the 90s Batman movie 4-pack, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to resist something like that, right? I mean, it's 4 movies for like $2.
It was also probably a really good price, yeah.
Yep.
This is from Corey Regosa. Please give me the pronunciation in the future. Hello. I too am a DCAU fan who grew up watching these shows. Oh, first time email.
Woo!
I enjoy your guys' YouTube content as well. Thank you. It's all Brian. I have been slowly making my way through the podcast while working my retail job and really enjoy the discussions you guys have. I occasionally will laugh out loud while stocking shelves, and I've gotten strange looks from customers because they don't see that I'm wearing wireless earbuds. I so far have gotten to birds of a feather and hope to maybe hear this message on the podcast when I finally catch up, if this is the right email. It is. Thanks for the entertainment, Cornelius Cool. Oh, and then there's spoilers at the end, so I won't say them to you. Okay.
Shit.
Ryan Hip.
Ryan.
A cheap parade of endless lies filters through his lazy eye. Special guest star Seagram's Extra Smooth. Oh, great.
It's really nice to see you, Batman. I guess you could say this episode was pretty cool. Hey, Batman, why don't you come and give me a snow job? Oh, shit, did I say that out loud?
It's everybody's favorite. Seriously, why is he still wearing a cape? When we last saw him, I mean, this is an even more emasculating cape-related mishap. At least last time it was a big old machine. This time it's a little bitty block of ice. He's a 30-something-year-old man. He's pulling at it and grunting and kicking like a 5-year-old. He's the world's greatest detective. It takes him 15 goddamn seconds to be like, oh yeah, I can just cut part of it off. Why is he still wearing it? Mr. Freeze is a favorite of mine. I like Deep Freeze more than Heart of Ice. Shut the fuck up. When I see that last shot of Heart of Ice, Deep Freeze, god damn it, where it's Freeze with Nora, this is such a satisfying conclusion, because when I see that, my brain thinks Mr. Freeze's disembodied head. The moment with Timm and the justice system is perfect. Protect him at all costs. I invented the spider breath. The end.
God.
Ryan,
the non-drunk Ryan hit messages are an adventure. So
they're all an adventure. Thank you.
Yeah, I like how that was another. You should just watch Batman and Robin sometime. Out of the four of them, I would assume I know you've got the 4-pack. I would assume you've probably seen that one the least out of the four of them.
Yeah, you are correct. I think I might have seen it in the movie theaters.
I definitely did, yeah.
But
it came out on my dad's birthday in 1997.
Wow, Jamie.
So now everyone knows my dad's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday, future James, every time it's June 20th. Coral Docs. His name is Ian. Okay. Hey, Yoppie fuckers. Oh, my goodness. I think it was the first email, though, so I could do that. I just listened to the Hand of Fate episode, felt compelled by some mystic force to nerdsplain, the villain Carcole, how he relates to Dr. Fate and why Superman might be familiar with him already. Dr. Fate is one of many characters whose history has them permanently linked back to World War II, but readers still want to see them around in the present day. Dr. Fate's immortality is built into his vast godlike powers, but other characters don't have such an easy hand wave. So how are some of these characters supposed to be over 100 years old? The answer is Carcole. In All-Star Squadron Annual number 3, the villain Ian Carcole, as in watch out everyone, here comes Ian, hatched a scheme involving time and shadow magic but was thwarted. Conveniently, his defeat caused an explosion that bathed many of these 1940s characters in time magic BS that slowed their aging, allowing them to be still fit and spry well past 100 years of age. So that brings us to Superman knowing about fate. If there was an entire generation of superheroes who punched Hitler in the dick, I can't imagine that not being taught to every child in American schools. In a world like that, Dr. Fate would be common knowledge, and with Superman being the first public-facing hero in the modern generation, he could very well be the most famous person on the planet at this point in the show, so it's not too far-fetched to think they'd be aware of each other without meeting. Still, would have been nice to show any of that. Oh well. Until next time, lads, long live the Legion. Thank you. Yeah, I guess so. We can't really talk about most of that until we get like 5 more shows.
Sorry.
From now, but Dr. Derp, first email.
Oh my God, we got so many emails
this time. Cold Comfort, or Mr. Freeze should have taken Billy Joel's hit single "Tell Her About It" to heart. Hello, James and Brian. Oh,
whoa!
What lame names are those? After writing a few emails for the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, I figured it was about time I sent in some mail for the Yoppie dudes. And what better time to send in mail than the WF event? Oh, wait, that was a month ago.
Literally a month ago as we record this.
It was, yeah. What better time to send in mail than Return of Mr. Freeze, now with spider leg action? Man, you'd think Dr. Octopus would be the one to get this visual gimmick. Oh well. Nice to see Jack Ryder finally made it back to Gotham, but now he's taken some lady's role as the de facto newscaster of Gotham City. He could do double duty, I suppose, if he really wants to keep covering the activity of Mr. Blue Sky, but that kind of overwork could really drive you bonkers if you don't have a good support system. Where is Summer Gleason anyway? I'm worried about her.
That's a good point.
Oh, well, at least we have the return of another fan favorite personality to celebrate, Cree Summer, just one episode after her DCAU debut in Airdate order. Give her a hand. She's everywhere. Oh, also, there's an obscure Batman villain named Mr. Freeze here, too. Always nice to see a deep cut pop up every now and then. Even with the context of Nora's ambiguous revival and the degradation of Mr. Freeze's body, his motivations feel a little petty in contrast to his other DCAU appearances. Also, shout out to Hilary J. Bader, who will write a much better Mr. Freeze story down the line.
Ooh,
it's also nice
spoilers.
to see more of Beck. Yeah, spoilers. Don't say these things.
I'm happy to hear.
Well, yeah. Certainly does Mr. Freeze some justice as a menacing figure. All the same, though, I do believe there was a missed opportunity to make a great Mr. Freeze episode, especially given the new status quo of Nora Freeze being alive. Victor trying to reconnect with her would make a great episode in itself, although I suppose the premise they went with better fits the action template viewers would be used to from Superman. MVP of the episode, whoever designed Freeze's robot body. Like, hot dang, all it's missing is Nintendo GameCube backwards compatibility. Batgirl is a close second.
You just hear, you get the shadow of Mr. Freeze coming around the corner, and you just hear the
Freeze! Until next time, I must resume my journey across the Mushroom Kingdom in search of the enigmatic Tobias Yoppie Bay Fridge. Damn it.
What?
Listen to this again. Tobias Yoppie Bay Fridge. That's
oh my god.
Oh my god. That's my favorite thing. Thank you. Keep calm and Yoppie on.
I don't know why I was thinking that was like a Tobias Boone from Mortal Kombat kind of thing, and I was just trying to read too much into it and not just shut my ears up and listen.
Just shut your ears. This is from Tip Tapricot, Contemplations on Cold Comfort.
Alrighty, here are some contemplations on a cold comfort. This was the return for Mr. Freeze. Dare I say a somewhat underwhelming one. I didn't love this a much. That's my cat meowing in the background. I think that it was like he didn't have good motivations similar to before. Like, I liked the buildup of mystery to like, why is he doing this stuff? Like, what's got him so pissed that he would have abandoned Nora and everything? And it's like, oh my gosh, his body deteriorated. But like, we never get like why he went for specific people. Like, I thought it was going to be revealed that they were involved somehow in like his accident and that was him getting back, but it seemed like he was just targeting like random people who had stuff to lose that he wanted to just be kind of an asshole for. Like, I don't really feel like it was as sympathetic, and I also feel like it ended really anticlimactically. I like the stuff with like pointing out that Bruce has a surrogate family he's building. I think that was good, and also I think it was really funny when that one henchman like ran into Bruce's kind of comically big boobs, but that's it. I don't know, kind of a dud.
Yeah, the ending, the very, very ending of this episode, it does wrap up in like 5 seconds. Like, the bomb explodes and Batgirl has just enough time to say like, "Is everything okay?" And Batman goes, "Yeah, he's dead." And then the episode's over. Like, it's just like, I think you could probably watch the clock. Yeah. Oh, I'm not done yet. No, we don't have any time.
Batman just getting shut up at the Oscars.
Wrap it up. It says on the thing.
He's like, wow, this is a really the music already?
It looks like we've seen the last. Oh shit! I gotta get out of here. Last verse though, we got Mark Aquino, and I'm glad I refreshed the page because right before we started recording, I looked in his comment, which he usually does is he'll paste in his normal like "boss biggest bear hugs" blah 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 stuff, and then in parentheses just put placeholder, baby, I'm a placeholder or something like that, just to make sure he gets his first comment, and then he'll replace that later with actual stuff. And like right before we started recording, it still said placeholder everywhere.
Oh,
and
shit.
I messaged him on Instagram like, "You want me to read placeholders?" Or so just now I refreshed it and it's better now. It's all good. It's there.
So getting in last minute there, Mark.
I almost wish I would have just let it be, but I couldn't.
He's just got he's at too many cool shows.
He says cold comfort, or snows before hose, or Alfred gets severe hypothermia today on Kids WWB, or spider freeze, make him mad and he'll break your knees. Is the return of our favorite chili boy, Mr. Freeze, or as we call him, Mr. Freeze. And now he's just become a full-blown hater. His whole attitude has now become, "Oh, that's a thing you're proud of? Zap! Fuck that and fuck you and everything." I feel like certain people might read this episode the incorrect way and think he's not in the wrong. He's speaking truth to power, bruh. Regarding Mr. Freeze's new design, I dig it. A very sleek and streamlined, kind of RoboCop-esque.
So streamlined, right down to the bottom of his Powerpuff Girls boots.
Right down to the boots. Speaking of this episode, made me realize that Peter Weller would have been perfect to play Freeze in the 90s, but then it actually would have been too similar to RoboCop, but I digress. No, Mr. Freeze is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm sure someone else will point this out, but Mr. Freeze's head with those spider legs reminded me of two different movies. John Carpenter's The Thing. Okay. Yeah, the upside down head spider guy. And Wild Wild West. The latter one is ironic because this episode predates it by almost 2 years. I like how in this one we really get to see the Bat family work together, something we haven't seen much of up to this point. There are some really funny moments in here too. That whole exchange between Bruce and Timm about civics is one of my favorite moments in the DCAU. Some great action sequences in this too, although let's face it, Batman definitely froze Gotham's water supply, pretty much proving Tim Drake's point. Overall, I really liked this episode a lot. It's not as well written as Heart of Ice, obviously, but I think it's actually better than Deep Freeze.
That's fine. Mark, that's fine. That's fine, Mark.
You can like On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Boss Biggest Bear Hugs to the #1 podcast host in this here multiverse of ours, jealous ex-husband, and big bad Beetleborgs. Praise to our Lord and Savior, Dylan Pollock. Keep up the great work on your own podcast, and remember to tell Gab that she rules, of course. Likewise to all his loyal disciples, all the people and bananas, and of course all the awesome sauce listeners of this Yoppie community of ours. You're all the absolute best. Don't you ever forget that. Well, there you have it. By the way this ended, clearly we'll never see Mr. Freeze again. If you'll excuse me, I need to help Bizarro Mark get his tongue unstuck to that big glacier that's now in Gotham Harbor. But you once said he like walking push pop. Can you blame me? Till next week, chili smoke bomb that'll be put out by a big ol' whoosh because I just flew away. Oh, boy.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for making it this far into the episode on one of those days where I just feel like I've done a bad job.
The next episode, Brian, what show is it? You guys the Superman, that's correct. It's called Prototype. What's it about? Tell me now.
That was
on the day of my daughter's wedding.
That was very, for me, it was very Auntie Donna, same ties. Wait a minute. Yeah. Are you two boys wearing the same tie?
I really, I watched the one again today of the classroom roll call, like so-and-so with a terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, and then it's just a woman in a cowboy hat going, yeehaw!
They are such an amazing brand of stupid. I love
good,
it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Prototype is the name of the episode.
Is this going to be a Brainiac episode?
No. Oh. It's not. It's a new villain. It's not one we've had.
Oh, that's not fair. Then I need a little bit of a hint.
Lex Luthor is involved.
Oh, is he going to build like Evil's Superbot?
Kinda.
Sick. Let's just leave
Think
it there.
of actually a thing that fucking Mark Aquino just said in his comment.
Big ol' whoosh?
That's all I ever remember. Boss Biggest Bear Hug. He said that Mr. Freeze's new design was very reminiscent of something, a different fictional character.
Oh, I didn't know what it was, so I just didn't commit it to memory.
What do you fucking, you know RoboCop?
Yeah?
Yeah. Psst, guess RoboCop.
Okay.
Guess RoboCop over the episode. We'll rewind. We'll cut all that out.
Okay.
Prototype? What do you think Prototype is about?
I think Lex Luthor.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Is gonna invent Mark Aquino.
You got it. Wow.
Did I?
That's
Did
amazing. I'll just press all the buttons at once.
1 moment, please.
That is so bad, Jamie.
Please. All right. That's the podcast. I hope you didn't enjoy it.
Send it right there.
Just
I'm
end
so
it
sorry.
now.
Everybody,
I'm only ahead.
Send me a Venmo request. I owe you money for listening to this. We did it. We got all the way through. Next
we
time,
watched Cold Comfort.
Next time, I'm not going to be mostly asleep.
Look, we usually record these at like 11 a.m. these days, and it's now 9 p.m. So
it's even later than that. And I don't think I have a gig next Tuesday. I don't think.
Okay. Everyone needs to know this. Goodbye. Look through your calendar live on the podcast.
I'm so tired.
Batman, are you reading me? Is everything all right up there?
Roger, Batgirl. I think we've seen the last of Mr. Freeze.
Jump on the Bat-Wagon is hosted by the Watchtower database. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis. This podcast is edited and produced by yours truly, James Strecker. Musical themes by Kimmy, Cooney Phoenix, Viltsu, Eric LeBeau, Jordan Blumen, my mother, and of course, my smooth co-host, Brian, brother Broderick Meneely. To buy us a Yoppie beverage and hear your name read in a future episode, or to nab yourself a Yoppie Dude t-shirt, please visit the links in today's show notes. Thank you for supporting the show. You can hear more on today's DCAU episode by checking out our friends over on the DCAU Review and Timm Talk podcasts. Please leave us a 5-star review on your app of choice. You'll damn well hear it read on the show. If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of World's Finest Part 3, you can email batwagonpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Podtower. New episodes of Jump on the Bat-Wagon are released Fridays on all your favorite podcast feeds and watchtowerdatabase.com. And we'll see you next episode, same PP time, same poo-poo channel.